Hi, this is Ronnie from YouTube, UK Fruit Fest. What this video is about being in the right, having the right priorities when it comes to changing your diet, going towards a healthier diet and lifestyle. And that I think it's important to communicate with people who are new to this in such a way that they understand what the priorities are and not to confuse these things, because the reason is that the idea of eating fruits and vegetables is so simple and kind of boring to people that it's almost like the last thing that people want to do is actually eat healthy. They want to find other things to get healthy, and they want to try everything else out. And you hear this phrase, I tried everything else out. You hear that phrase quite a lot from people when it comes to a lot of things. I tried everything else out, or I tried loads of things out, and then I did the thing that works that I should have done from the beginning. But that's how people are. We shouldn't criticise them. So when I'm talking about priorities, if you are on an unhealthy diet, whatever that looks like to you, junk food, eating too much, maybe eating too little even, not eating any fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, then the priority for you is not to take the diet that you're doing now and add supplements. And the priority is not to take the diet that you're doing now and add herbs. And the priority is not to take the diet that you've got now and change it into an organic version of that diet. And the priority is not to do the diet you're doing but with no GMO foods. And the priority is not to take the diet that you're doing and do it without plastic. And the priority is not to take the diet that you are doing and do it gluten-free. And you could go on and on and on and on down that chain of looking at different things about your diet that you could improve or you could change, but it's not the first priority. It's not the first priority. And once again, if you're ill or you're sick, and your problem is related to diet, then trying to find a way to continue to eat that diet and maintain health is not the priority. So going to the gym, for example, going to some kind of healer, a chiropractor, some kind of therapy, therapists, whatever, Reiki, energy, spiritual healing, homeopathy, all these things, these are not the priority. But a lot of the time people want to change those things before it, or investigate those things before anything else. The priority is to actually change substantially what your diet is. And the biggest and best way to do that is to remove the foods that are causing you a problem. Completely. 100%. And some people have a real problem with dairy products. Well, the solution is not to try and have organic dairy or raw dairy. It's to remove all the dairy. And it's not to have goat milk instead of cow milk. It's just to get rid of all the milk. You don't need it. And get rid of all the cheese and the butter or whatever it is. And the same goes with anything. The same goes with if sugar is your problem, if caffeine is your problem, get rid of it completely. That should be the priority, and don't let all these other things sort of take your focus away from what the focus should be. The focus has to be on the thing that is causing the problem for you and eradicating that. That's where the focus should be. So when I am talking about this diet to you, when I'm talking about this stuff, and at the UK Fruit Fest, when we have the food that we have and everything else. For example, I was just in a conversation with someone, and some people are unhappy that all the food at the UK Fruit Fest isn't organic. Some of it probably is, some of it isn't, and it depends what people mean by organic. It's not organic certified. It might but that doesn't mean it's not organic in the way that what people think organic means. But organic just means organic certified, right? So, where am I going with this? What I'm saying is that the people to me who are the most worried about organic and ask about it, and or not all, but for me the majority of people that I've met who are talking about organic and are really concerned about it, they are often not doing a healthy diet yet anyway. So their problem is not organic or not. It's also a false thing because everyone thinks organic means pesticide free, and it doesn't. Organic food has pesticides, sometimes more pesticides. So when people say, I can taste the pesticide on this, it's like, well, how come you can't taste it on the organic? Because it's got even more on it. Controversial but true. And ironically, if you want pesticide free food, you might be better off betting on conventional food, which is just as likely to have no pesticide on it, basically, as far as I can see. Maybe I'm all wrong about this, if there's a lot of evidence around it, perhaps, but most of the food that is in the supermarkets and stuff is actually from small farms, which I didn't believe when I first heard that, but apparently most of the supermarket food is from fairly small farms. And as far as I'm concerned, small farms are the least likely to have organic certification because of cost and stuff like that, but are probably the most likely to be more organic than bigger farms. But regardless of that, your fruits and vegetables are all coming from pretty small farms and pretty good people. Like, they're not trying to hurt you. So, and if they did, they would lose their farm. Like, I can't believe people don't understand these things. It's really simple. Like, if you make food that poisons people, the shops are not going to buy it from you anymore. You're going to lose your business, right? So anyhow, the priorities, and I don't want you to think organic is a priority, because I don't think it is. I don't think eating organic anything is better than non-organic fruits and vegetables. Like, it's just clearly not, and it's clearly not, and it's been proven not. So fruits and vegetables, it's more important to change the fruits and vegetables than it is to go organic. So that's why I don't go on about organic all the time. Now, is it a better philosophical idea that you grow some of your own food and support some local farmer that's organic, that doesn't spray and all that stuff? Yeah, I guess so, but it's something that we cannot replicate and do for everyone. That's kind of the problem with this idea of not spraying pesticides on crops. It's like really difficult to do that for millions and billions of people, which is why organic food is sprayed as well. And then people say, well, you could do permaculture. You could do permaculture, or you could grow a forest on a farmland, and within that forest there might be, 4 or 5 fruit trees or something like that, but you're not going to produce a lot of fruit, so it's not going to work out. You're going to have to sell the farmland to someone who's going to use it productively. So we're not in a perfect situation. We don't have like only 200 people in the world and unlimited land. Right? If we had that situation, then that would be different. But imagine there was 200 people and you had the Congo, the rainforest in the Congo. Yeah, then you can just go around and pick fruit and, oh look, there's 100 pieces of fruit that have all bashed up and eaten by insects. Well, that's okay because there's 300 pieces of fruit that haven't been, right? Well, that's fine, but it's just not something that we can do now. So organic is not the issue. It's not the main issue. And gluten-free and all these things, these aren't the main issue, and herbalism and adding these things in superfoods, none of these are the main issue. Fruits and vegetables are the main issue. eating more fruits and vegetables, particularly fruit. Eating more fruit is the number one first thing that you should work on if you're not already going down this path. It's the number one biggest thing, and if you're starting to eat more fruit, you need to start eating more. It's the biggest thing that's going to make an impact, in my opinion. In my opinion, but also in the opinion of the Global Burden of Disease study and multiple world governments that put out programs to try and get people to eat more fruit. So they know what's up. So the priorities is what I'm talking about. And supplementation is another thing. I made a video about supplementation. I don't want you to think that the problem in your diet is that you're not supplementing. That's not the problem. The problem is you're eating an excess of bad foods if you're feeling bad. And even if you're feeling bad, it could be feeling bad for a million reasons, right? So it's not always to do with your food. But if you definitely have, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, something that is very linked to diet and can be reversed with diet, then your priority is not going organic, adding herbs, adding supplements. And that's what basically has been a business for years and years. It's been the business of selling people supplements and telling them that the reason that they're not well and the reason that they're not well is because they're deficient. And the reason it has so much power is because there was so many deficiencies maybe 100 years ago. They just don't exist anymore. I mean, people might not be getting enough of different nutrients, of course, and stuff like that, but these deficiencies, but actually being so low in it that you start to get a disease, that you start to have major symptoms, it just doesn't happen. Basically, it doesn't happen. And we know that just adding vitamins to people's diet does not do the same thing as eating more fruits and vegetables. So that's why I'm not keen on supplementation or talking about it. But that's not to say I don't think that it's not necessary or that some people shouldn't do it or whatever. I just think that there's a standard way of looking at that. You don't need to come to me for that information. You can go to your doctor, you can get their advice, you can get testing done, you can get advice on what that testing means. Is this conventional? Does this look right? Am I way off here? And all I'm seeing is people that had deficiencies and problems that recovered on a raw diet. So a deficiency you could say is real iron deficiency or anemia, but that's not even connected with a vegan diet. I mean, that would get sorted with eating more fruits and vegetables. I had Lindsay Gassick on a podcast, and she was saying that she had anemia, and the person said you can either go and eat a lot of meat or you can drink green smoothies. And she had green smoothies and her anemia went away. So we're seeing fruits and vegetables solving the deficiency issues, solving the disease issues. So I'm not wanting people to connect the raw vegan diet with deficiency, raw vegan diet with supplementation, raw vegan diet, that's that thing, you need B12 and 5 or 6 other supplements. I don't like that idea, and it's so tempting because people are looking for a different answer. I had a friend that went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival 2 or 3 times, and every year he would go back. He still wasn't the level of health he wanted to be, and he would say, he would speak to Doug Graham at first. He would say, what should I do? And Doug Graham would say, are you doing the 80-10-10 diet? And he said no. And Doug would say, well, do the 80-10-10 diet. And then a year later he would come back to the festival and say, Doug, I'm still not healthy, what should I do? And Doug would say, are you doing the 80-10-10 diet? And he said no. He said, well, do the 80-10-10 diet, do that first. And the guy never did it. And then he would speak to Don Bennett, and then he would speak to someone else. Now they would all have the same answer, which is you have to actually do the raw vegan diet, right? But he's looking for someone to give him a different answer. Eventually he found different people that gave him different answers. Homeopaths, low carb diets, all this stuff. He found different people that gave him different answers because he wasn't prepared to make the changes to do the raw vegan diet. But that psychology is what leads a lot of people to doing supplementation and stuff like that when they probably didn't really need it. It probably wasn't really necessary. They're looking for an other answer. They don't want it. They really don't want to change their diet. And sometimes, and people don't believe me on this, but people will claim that they're doing the diet correctly. And people say this in forums all the time. I've been doing the diet by the letter, by the book for 3 months and I'm still not feeling great. And when we start to ask questions, we quickly realise the person isn't doing the diet. But some other people go, well, maybe you've got a deficiency in this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, it's almost never a deficiency. It's almost entirely people that aren't actually doing what they're talking about, or they're not eating enough, or they're eating too much fat or whatever. So for me, it's about the priorities. Focus on more fruits and vegetables, and that'll be the biggest change to your diet. So thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about this, fruitfest.co.uk. We've got a competition on right now that you can join. I'll put a link below. Thank you.